Do you struggle with catching it too thin, too fat? Are you a big slicer or a duck hooker? Do you just know something's wrong with your golf swing but not sure what it is? Then join me as I show you how you can analyze your golf swing at home and what to look for. It's all happening now. Welcome back to FOREpar. Today we're going to be looking at the top 15 swing characteristics that are affecting your golf swing. And I'm going to show you how you can analyze your own golf swing at home using a simple app so you can start improving your own golf game today. The app I'll be using is called Swing Profile. Really easy to use. After you load in videos of yourself swinging as directed, you can use their tools to help draw lines like you see here to help address different characteristics in your golf swings. First one we're going to start with is looking at our just setup posture. You're going to draw a line from your tailbone up to the back of your neck, looking for any excessive roundness above the line or gapping below the line. As you can see, I have pretty good roundness above the line, so I would have what we would call C posture. If you notice yourself with gapping below the line, that would be classified as S posture. Moving on, we're going to look to see if we lose our posture throughout our golf swing. You can see me putting these dots at my ear, my hip, and my knee. What I'm doing here is just trying to find those landmarks, and then we're going to actually use a different tool to find out the degrees at which they're bent and set up. So now that I got a visual with my eyes of where these joints are, I'm actually going to remove them, and I'm going to put these round circles here that will actually give me a degree, and I'm going to set it up kind of where I want. And you can leave those circles if you want. It just got a little bit too much for me to handle. So you can see I'm actually struggling to get the exact landmark, but as we set it up, we're going to get a nice degree of our hip bend here, and then we're going to take it back to our back swing. We're going to take it back to our impact swing and see exactly if I lose or what my degree of range of motion is. So I'm going to do the exact same thing at impact here. You can see we got about 130 going forward in the beginning, but now we got about 120, 125, maybe 117 at impact. That test was probably the hardest one to set up and figure out, so take your time with it. Moving forward, and now we're going to look at your shoulder plane. So you're going to start with the line down the shaft at contact, and then you're going to bring it up to the top of your back swing and draw a line through your shoulders. What we'd like to see is that initial start position of your shaft and your shoulder position are parallel. Otherwise, if not, it shows that you're losing that posture a little bit and you're extending up and flattening out your shoulder, which usually will lead to flatter plane, lean to more over the top, which we'll assess here in a second, which you can see I clearly struggle with right there. Now moving forward after that, we're going to look at one of the most common pitfalls for most people. That's early extension. So pretty easy. You're just going to draw a wall behind your bottom here. And when we take it back into our backswing, we want to see that right hip kind of extend past the wall, which I get barely. And then as we go forward, we want to see the left hip, which my left hip doesn't necessarily come fully forward, but it does just stay right on the wall. We'd like to see that even sit back a little bit more as you're rotating. So make sure you're assessing that you're getting that follow through rotation as well. The next one we're going to look at is going to be that over the top evaluation. So you're going to get into that start position again, set up, and we're going to draw another line down the shaft of the club. This will be our reference line or start line, and then now we're going to bring it back to about shoulder height takeaway, where your lead arm is just parallel with the ground, and then we're going to draw another line at that point. So let's get there. You got to take your time here. This app is a little bit slow, a little bit clunky, but it is a good one. So I'm going to draw a line through that shaft at that point, and this is going to create a slot. This slot is what you want to see yourself go through as you're addressing the ball. And you can see I come over the top of that top line. So this produces a lot of that slicing, that fading that I do tend to see in my golf swing and that most amateurs deal with. It's also going to lead to a loss of power and just overall body connection through the swing. The The next one we're going to look at is hiking. So with this test, what you're going to do is look for to see if that trail hip, or for me, my right hip, hikes up during the downswing. So you're going to put a dot at that right hip as you're coming down, or just eye it. So as you can see here now, I'm putting that dot on the right hip. There you go. And what we want to see is that you stay level or go down a little bit as you start to make your downswing. We don't want to see that hip go above that dot. So I do a pretty good job there. I don't struggle too much with hiking. Our next test we're going to look at is flying elbow. So we're going to see if that trail elbow gets away from our body on the backswing. So we're going to start at address and then slowly take ourselves up to the top of our backswing, just really focusing on that trail elbow and seeing if it starts to extend from the body. You can see right there that I do just get away from my body there at the very top. If I shorten that swing a little bit, I keep my elbow tucked in. So that's something I'm going to try to work on moving forward, is trying to just shorten my swing and not overextend away from my torso there. You can draw a line through your humerus, see if there's any space between that and the trunk. You can see that's what I'm kind of showing you here. We want that to be in contact, not getting that elbow up and away from my trunk like you see I get right there. For the rest of these tests, you want to look at yourself swinging from in front instead of down the line like we just did. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at a few major transitional movements here. So the first one is going to be sway. So we're going to draw a line like a wall down the trail side of your body. And when you take it back to that downswing, we don't want to see your body shift past that line. We want to see it rotate away. And I do a pretty good job there. Maybe get away from the wall a little bit too much there and transition a little too early. Then we're going to look at the opposite way here. You can see I'm getting that set up now. We're going to draw a line down the lead side of your body, of your golf swing, and we're going to take yourself into your follow through. And this is called a slide if you break the barrier of that wall like you see I do there. And we can actually see that a little bit when we were looking at early extension. I don't really sit back into that hip. I kind of extend a little bit and slide out forward like you just saw. So the next common pitfall that people get into is called a reverse spine angle. Basically, instead of getting that tilt back into your trail leg, you tilt forward into your lead leg. So it's not a common thing you will see, but you will see some people do that. So what you'll do is you're going to take yourself up to your backswing, and then you're just going to draw a line kind of down the middle of your torso. And if it's angling back kind of towards your trail leg at the top, then you have a good tilt there. We don't want to see it too upright, and we don't want to see it too forward. I get a little too upright there, but still get a nice tilt. I am hitting iron. The more you get into a driver, the more tilt you'll probably end up seeing. The next two tests you'll kind of see together. The first one is called reverse pivot. Basically, that's where instead of shifting your weight onto your lead foot during the downswing and onto your trail foot during the backswing, you do it opposite. So you would shift your weight forward when you're trying to swing backwards and backwards when you're trying to swing forward. So you see this a lot with people who actually do what the next test is, and that's called hanging back, where people tend to get away from their trail leg and really fire their hips forward but lean back while they're doing it. You're going to lose a lot of power if you notice this in your golf swing. So if you're struggling with power, this may be one thing you're doing. But you can see here I do a good job with both of those. I don't struggle with that at all. The next test we're going to get into here is called casting or scooping. Essentially, it's where you're early releasing your golf club. So you're going to start by putting a line at your waist at address. And then what we're going to see is as we come through into impact is we want to see those hands break the barrier of that plane right there before the club head. So I don't have the best picture here for us to show it. I'm a little too close to the camera. But you can see if we really slow it down that my club and my hands are basically parallel. And that head is probably breaking the plane just before my hands do. So I do get a little bit of this casting or scoop in action in my golf swing. The last thing we're going to look at here is called chicken wing. It's where you lose extension of your lead elbow through the golf swing. So we're going to just take it nice and slow, look at my lead elbow as I go. As I get into that impact, you can see I stay pretty straight with that lead elbow. I don't let it wing out like I do on the backswing with the trail elbow. So good contact there, making good compression. Looks like I'm early extending a little bit, but let's recap. As we end this episode, we're going to plug everything into my TBI app, which, by the way, you have to be a TBI certified specialist in order to have it. I'm going to go to my profile, look at my swing characteristics, and I'm just going to click everything that I had an issue with. So we see we had the C posture, the loss of posture, the flattening shoulder plane, over the top, a little bit of a slide, a little bit of casting, and a little bit of that flying elbow. And so you can see there, that's the list of the issues that I need to work on. So make sure you stay tuned, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. That way you don't miss a single episode.